Hey, this is Jim. Welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Today, I've got my mom on the line with me. This is one of those episodes that we do from time to time where we turned on the video cameras so you can see my mom side by side. She's at her office and I'm at home, but you can see us talking, hanging out, talking business. She's been working with me for several years now. We've got many family members on our team, actually. So today you're going to hear us talk about what it's like to work with family. Is that a good idea? Kind of the transitions over the years of how we've seen the industry change and some of the very successful projects we're involved with now, some of the duties that she has on her desk, kind of managing the office around here. She runs the Amazon FBA side of our business as well. So there's a lot of people that report to her. She's kind of second in command of a lot of things going on around here. And you may have never even realized that or heard her name. It's my mom, Judy Cockrum. I think you're going to really enjoy this episode. Just a mom and a son hanging out, talking. We reminisce a little bit about the journey and what it's looked like to get to this point. Because remember, I've been doing this for close to 20 years, and mom's been on the team now, as we figured out, a little over 8 years at this point. But it's very much a family affair around here as our team continues to grow. So if you want to peek behind the curtain on what business looks like around here, some of the different things we have going on to support you, we even talk about how many different customer support tickets we receive each week and respond to. The listeners to this show who are buying courses and content, coaching, maybe events. We've got a team that handles your requests with excellence every day around here. So just a little peek behind the curtain of what it might look like as your business grows. We've been there, done that, blazed a trail. There's some good lessons for you here for sure. So sit back, enjoy. I'm going to get my mom on the line right now and spend a little bit of time with her talking business, family, and blending the two. I think you're going to enjoy this. Welcome, Mom, to Silent Sales Machine Radio. This is a first. So glad that you could join us today. And tell me a little bit, what do you do around here? What's your role on the team?
That's a packed question. Okay, well, right now, as of 2020, I'm more in an administrative role for the team. We do a lot of the accounting and payouts for product partners, payouts for affiliates that are affiliated with the partnership. But I also still oversee the FBA account that we opened many years ago. And I have a whole team that runs that for us now. And we've turned our FBA product into a prep center. And we are a prep center for several clients that are local and several clients that shop online arbitrage. So we have our work area is a retail space. And we have turned that retail space into not only a warehouse, but also a walk-in retail shop. People can come in and buy those products that don't sell on Amazon. We also have a very active eBay account. We sell on Marketplace. So
yeah, Facebook Marketplace is in the mix. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got a lot going on.
We have a lot going on. We have amazing weekly team meetings.
I should know the answer to this question, but how long have you been working for the team here?
I started working out of my house in 2012.
2012. Wow.
FBA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're eight years into
8 years.
This.
Yes.
Yeah. So we didn't do a whole lot of prep for this show today, just as a confession to the people who are listening and viewing today. Just kind of going to let it go where it goes. But how have things changed? Like, what are some of the things that stand out to you since 2012 as this community has grown, the business has changed, we've taken on partners? Like, what's that ride been like for you, both as a mom and, for lack of a better, I don't know if we've ever given you a title, have we? Let's just say the office manager who catches all things that no one else catches.
Right. Well, that's good. Yeah. Just throw it in my basket.
Exactly.
I'll delegate it to someone. So when I took it in 2012, I actually took on the Amazon Fulfillment by Amazon account in my home, in the spare bedroom, until your dad kicked me out.
That's right.
He was sick of boxes, sick of trips to UPS. So we quickly moved that to a little rental house that we shared with another business. And I brought people in. First of all, brought the boys in, the grandsons in, preteens, and they helped me ship and helped me sort through pallets. And we had a blast. Their first jobs were working with me. But my very first exposure to Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon, was taking the Proven Amazon course myself. And then, but I had already been selling on Amazon, selling books on Amazon, and I had my own personal eBay account. So I had some experience and just pretty much blew it up from there. We've pretty much taken every course that has come out since the Proven Amazon course in the community. I stay pretty involved in the Facebook group, My Silent Team Facebook group, try to catch up on the courses as they come out, or at least get someone on my team to take the course and summarize it for me.
Right.
But we have grown into testing. We have proven or tested just about every course that's come out.
Yeah, that's right.
We love
testing ground for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
When you say team, I bet a lot of people are curious. I've never really broken down. I've shared big numbers, but you kind of, if there was an org chart, which it's a very fluctuating org chart around here, it's a pretty flat org chart. But if we were to say who reports to you, like on a regular basis on any given week, who's checking in with you, reporting to you that you're responsible for, and what are some of their roles? Let's just kind of go through.
Okay.
So can people can kind of see, we're 20 years into this.
Right.
What does it look like as this business matures? What are some of the roles that people are playing on our team? I think that might be some valuable information for folks to consider.
That's really good. Yeah, I guess we've never really drawn the chart. We've just kind of morphed.
Yeah. It's like, hey, if you need help, hire somebody, and now they report to you.
Right. Well, probably the one of the bigger dynamics that I oversee is the support team, and that includes, of course, Mary Case, who has been support. She actually was my go-to person when I started working for you and for Amazon.
I think she's she's one of the few that's been around longer than you.
Yes.
I'm going to get her on the podcast here soon too. I think
that's so neat. She told me she was scheduled.
She's been on this ride almost as long as I have, and started out in support and still in that role, and just invaluable asset to the community.
Yes.
She'll be at the Proven conference. I think she's been to every one.
Definitely. Yeah. She's on the Proven Conference 2020 planning committee. That's another thing that I oversee. So I have, for people that report to me, Mary has a whole team. We have 4 people that manage the Zendesk emails. And then we have the moderators and the leadership on the Facebook page who, I check in with them often.
And there's dozens of them.
Lisa. Yeah.
And you mentioned Zendesk. That's what we use for customer support. If you email support at silentsalesmachine.com, that goes into our ticket system that's run by Zendesk. And then that's kind of distributed out to the appropriate party that needs to respond.
Right.
And we do a really great job. We really stay on top of the support. We get a lot of support. What's some of the, like in a typical week, I haven't looked at these numbers in probably a few years, because again, this is part of yours, but like how many tickets are we handling in a given week?
In a given week, probably 600 or 700.
600 or 700 support tickets.
And they are anything from, I can't log in to the learning portal, which is learning.silentsalesmachine.com. That people are having trouble getting into their training programs, the courses, to I forgot my password, to I'm having trouble paying in the cart, just really random things. Plus we get, which course was it that taught about using coupons when you're shopping?
Right.
So finding the zeroing in on the course that they're referring to because they remember hearing something on the course and they don't remember where they heard it and they want to go back and reference it. So they get a huge variety of questions and try to respond within hours. So
So
yeah, we probably do about 2,000 tickets a month that get solved.
yeah, that's awesome. And that used to be, it's hard for me to believe that used to be, and I was doing all that myself until I
Emails,
hired
right,
Mary.
right,
It
right,
just emphasizing the importance of team. And, over time as
right.
things grow, bringing in good people and team. So we've got the support, we've got the FBA activities running through the warehouse. We've got the prep center
Mm-hmm.
activities where we help manage. For those who don't know what a prep center is, a good example might be someone lives overseas outside the United States and they want to buy product in the US and sell it on Amazon US
Mm-hmm.
without shipping it to wherever they live, say Italy. Well, you can live in Italy or you can live in any country of the world and have an Amazon account in the US and use a prep center. We're one of many prep centers. And we'll get more into what all that is. We've got actually a new service we're setting up. But I want to hear about who else is on your team, who else is reporting to you that you're monitoring. You mentioned the moderators. That's a lot of people. We're already up to probably, I don't know, 50, 60 people at this point at any given time that could ping you for something. And
Right,
right,
right.
I'm kind of like, I'm that next level of like, oh, do we want to bother Jim with this? Oh, no, Jim's mom can handle it. It's invaluable knowing that my time is freed up to do the things that I have to do because
Right. It's an honor.
you and Stephen and Mary, the great people on the team, kind of fielding those questions and building those, if you will, second tier relationships that are vital to
Right.
what we're doing.
Within this office, also, I have we have one other employee that literally gets a paycheck, and it's the accounting administration clerk who catches everything that falls off my desk, and she's in training right now, but she's responsible for paying our partners and making the affiliate payments. She's in direct communication with Stephen, working with him. We have a totally new accounting system we moved to this year. We're so excited about. Plus, I'm working directly with programmers to pull all the product sales and all the payouts into one dashboard. We're very excited. The programmer is incredible. And we're going to be able to give you and the partners and the leadership their own user permissions to log into a screen where they can see the business, see the
Yeah,
progress,
see
the
all the moving
features.
parts in one screen.
Yeah.
That's going to be beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, you
And
mentioned
that's coming together.
paying out the partners and the affiliates. Any given month, between, I don't know, 100, 150 different people are getting paid as a partner or an affiliate. Those are the significant checks that are going out. There's a lot of smaller affiliates, bunches of those, but I don't think we pay out to what someone's earned $50 or so.
Right.
But the affiliate list and then the partners, I want to talk about that for just a second. The affiliates are easy to explain. That's just people who have promoted our products. We may not even know who they are. Maybe it's listeners to the podcast who want to recommend the Proven Amazon course to a few friends. Well, you can sign up for free as an affiliate, get a little affiliate code and say, hey, when you buy the course, use this link. That way I get a percentage. Right? That's our affiliates. We got bunches of them. Any given month, there's a bunch of them earning a check. But then our partners are the people who create the content for us and with us. And that's a long list of people too. I love seeing that partner report every month. It's all the great creative leaders in our community who are making content. They've come to us with a great idea. We've tested it out. We've proven that it works. There's that word proven. And then we roll it out to the community, and the partner gets a percentage of every course sale made in exchange for being a leader on that concept and answering questions. It's a really cool arrangement, but after doing it for 15, 18, coming up on 20 years, it's a pretty long list of partners any given month.
It is.
And that's part of your role, is managing that as well. So it
Right.
starts to feel like you're a bit underpaid. You ever feel underpaid?
Oh, wow. We have to have that discussion. It is a lot when you start discussing it or putting it on paper. It's a lot of responsibility, but I truly love to delegate. I love discovering people's giftings and turning things over to them and then trusting them with it. That's what the word delegate means, in trust. I just love that word, and I love that role. So within this building, then I have Ruben, who is my guru on the Fulfillment by Amazon side. And we have grown just since September, just since last year's conference, the Proven Conference. We have grown 15 new clients for the Prep Center. We have them from Australia, China, all over the country. They're sending us. Excuse me.
So right outside your office where you're sitting, we've got inventory lining on the shelves, and
right. And then of course, continually growing the FBA business that we've had all along. We switched that whole philosophy out there to replenishable products that we order over and over again. So it's kind of a well-oiled machine right now. We have 3 shoppers. We use WhatsApp to communicate. And when we're low on something, we put it out there and the shoppers race to be the one to buy it. So
and
we
I don't
just
even
have
know. I should know, but are they on some kind of commission per sale? Are you tracking that?
Yes.
We probably need to update what was the name of that course that we did? It's probably 4 years old at this point. It's still phenomenal, but proven team building, maybe?
That's okay. I'm on that.
Are you? Okay.
Yes.
Who are you working on?
Excuse me.
Who are you working with on that one?
Eric Bussey and I are
That's
redoing.
Right. That's right. I've got it over here on my board.
2.0.
Yep. So that's coming.
It is.
Team building 2.0. And especially with the replen model, which greatly simplifies it. Because then you can reduce it to an hourly if you want. You can say, hey, we'll pay you $14 an hour. We're going to give you a shopping list. Yeah. Go shopping. And you don't have to track. But that's beautiful. Yeah, Eric's building. I got to get Eric back on the podcast too at some point. It's been too long since he was on.
Yeah.
Very creative.
He's changing a lot of his business model.
So many great leaders in this community.
Oh, so honored. Such an honor to work with them too. It's been incredible. So when we moved into this location, it's like I said, it's in a very tiny town in Indiana, and it's the retail strip mall was kind of dead. We moved in and remodeled it just a little bit and kept our retail space, but turned everything else into offices and warehouse. And we signed up with UPS with a service that UPS has to provide drop-off UPS service to the community. So we have walk-in customers. So we have the retail area that they can kind of browse while we're getting their shipments ready. So we offer the community a lot of services, but then we also have the prep center that's just going on, the back door where we're receiving every day from UPS, FedEx, and the post office. So we stay busy.
So tell me some, if anything comes to mind. It's kind of fun putting your mom on the spot. Although no one's listening right now, tens of thousands of people will be listening eventually. So I know you're going to feel a little nervous, you'd said, but you're doing great. But curious, what are some of the highlight stories? Like, it's been, it's been over, you said 2008 or 2012. You said 2012, 8 years ago. Right. So, we're coming up on 10 years here, not before too long. Tell me some of the highlight stories. Like, what stands out to you? Maybe some of the moments as a mom, or even as someone who's always had a passion for entrepreneurship and business. And I'm sure I got most of that from you growing up, because I've certainly always had it. Just share some highlight stories that pop into your mind.
Okay. Well, one thing that comes to mind immediately is I worked for 32 years. Most of my jobs were professional jobs, and I was in the IT field. Started out data processing way back when. I could write the book on computers because I started out way back. But the information technology field, took me into banking, hospitals, a lot of offices, a lot of accounting experience. And in all of the jobs that I had, I pretty much never had any say about how my day went or really anyone else's day went because of corporate. So being offered a position where I could create what my day looked like and and have, employment for people who, needed new skills, or just being able to bring people in and teach them new skills. And we've launched several people that have started their own business. We have a form that everyone signs, a non-compete form that everyone signs when they work for us, basically saying, we're teaching you a lot of skills here. We really don't want to build competition. But, if they want to start their own business as a result of what they've learned, we launch them. We send them out, and some of them have come back. They'd rather work here than they'd rather work for me than have their own business.
Right.
But just that opportunity to be who I am and take all the skills that I've acquired through the years. And I'm just so grateful that I can finish out strong doing something I love and actually see the results of my passion. You remember, Jim, you worked for me. I think you worked for me at the bank and at the hospital when you were young teen, just doing data entry for me. And
that little office in Bloomington, we do payroll or something under the coffee shop there. I've had several.
That's right.
I worked for you several times, so I get to pay. I get paybacks now. I can fire you now. You can't, and you can fire me back then.
And that's one of the modules in the proven team building is, do you really hire your mom? Do you hire someone that you can't fire?
And we've kind of violated that rule in a big way. We have, both Brett and I both have brought on multiple family members and put them in key roles.
Right.
And, the old rule of thumb, let's just spend a minute on that. At least, I can kind of soapbox on it for a minute. The old rule of thumb was, you never sell a car to family, you never rent a house to family, and you certainly never hire family, right? Like, no, never. Well, is that biblical? This whole podcast is based on never violating biblical principles. And of course, people with all sorts of worldviews listen, but that's the platform we've built very successfully upon. And I just recorded an episode a few days ago talking about the world's longest longitudinal study of human behavior and business success is the Hebrew people who subscribe to these biblical principles. So it's not like we're just doing it out of some loyalty to some ancient book. These are proven strategies. But you look at, what does the Bible say about building something with family? And there's actually a study on it. So see if I can remember the name of the study. It's one of Lapin's studies. I think it's called The Coming Flood, something along those lines. It's his talk about Noah's Ark and how that is a model in the Hebrew tradition. That is a model of how you build during a time of cultural decline or cultural uncertainty. You want to build a business and build structure using family. And Noah's Ark is the blueprint for that, with about 50 incredible lessons built in that I'm not going to go into. So that convinced me very early on that I'm going to ignore that traditional advice that you don't bring in family and instead take lessons from that story, which is you build something that family can very easily step into. Those people that God put closest to you, he did that for a reason. They have a role to fill. And that's how you build generational stability. And, and we used to understand that culturally. I think he points out all of the businesses that are named Smith and Sons, Johnson and Sons. And he talks about, well, why not daughter? Well, he goes into the reasons, but just all these generational family businesses, the power of that, you can leverage the power of the name and the reputation. And, on that note, our son Chase just went into the military basic training here just a couple of days ago. Your grandson, my oldest son. And one of the things I put in the last note I gave him and stuck in his pocket was, the most valuable thing you're taking with you is the reputation that your name carries. Protect it, carry it with pride. And if you can leverage an understanding of that and put it back into business somehow and serving well, you bring in family. Now, if you've got a dysfunctional black sheep uncle and you're trying to rescue him from a series of terrible choices, I wouldn't recommend hiring that guy necessarily.
Right.
But if you've got a fairly stable family member who subscribes to like-minded values, bring them in for sure. We've got so many married couples in this community, for example, that are doing this together and just thriving, enjoying it. You've got other couples that, she does her thing, he does his thing, and they're thriving just as well. I'm not saying you have to bring in family, but given the opportunity, I think, well, we've got 8 years of track record. It's working really well.
Right.
We've had all the kids come through the business. We've got the kids involved
Exactly.
still, various degrees. Yeah, we've got plenty of proof that works when done well.
Right.
What comes to mind as I share those stories?
Well, for some reason, I just recalled you sitting at your little TRS-80 Radio Shack computer designing programs when you were maybe 13 or 14, 15.
That's right. I was such a nerd. Let me see. I've got, see if I can find it since you brought it up. Keep talking. I'll be back in like 3 seconds.
That's no problem. So standing over your shoulder and watching you have a passion for something that I had a passion for, I just feel that really shared vision for doing something great with what became, of course, the internet. It's just, I remember I felt like I was launching you into a vision that I'd had for, I know we had several conversations, especially when you were a teenager, about people being allowed to be freer to start their own business. And we always had the discussion about serving other people. We both just had that same heart. And it just such a gratefulness in the home. And we just wanted to give back because of what God did for us, for our family. Our past was rough and your childhood was rough. But when we got our heads on straight and started serving God properly, it felt like the whole family was turned around and the whole vision of the family was shaped. And so we've kind of been on the same journey all along, although I have to say that I was concerned initially, and your dad was very concerned initially when you homeschooled and when you launched your own job. You got
we'll go into that story
fired
in a second.
from Microsoft.
I want to hear what kind of things you guys were saying, because I don't know if you've actually told me the full story there. I knew you guys were a little nervous, but I was way more nervous, and so was Andrea. So I don't know that we cared a whole lot what everyone else thought at that time. That's been 17,
good. Yes,
17 plus years ago, 18 years ago almost. But yeah, you mentioned me sitting at the computer on Saturdays. I'm actually, this is the magazine. If anyone had the old TRS-80 computers, I actually bought a copy of this on eBay recently. October 1985. The rainbow meant something entirely different back then, believe it or not.
Yes.
It was a symbol of, it was the name of the color computer. That was the symbol for the color computer. And it was, I programmed in BASIC and won some programming contests. And in this issue, I'm actually published for, I'm one of the nerds published as a programming contest winner. So I bought a copy of this for old time's sake. But yeah, I started out very early, and I would spend my Saturdays, pounding away on a computer trying to program. I haven't done programming in years, but I think in systems for sure. And
same.
That probably gave me an advantage somehow along the way.
Right.
Although I convince people all the time now they don't need technical skills to succeed. I've never used any of those technical skills on my way to success beyond just understanding maybe what the computer's capable of,
right?
Somehow a little bit, but even now it continues to amaze me, and it's well beyond my ability to track and comprehend. But so share some of the story. Like, let's go back in time 17 years, because at that time, I had a great job selling Microsoft software, and that's a good 6-figure stable career path kind of thing. And then suddenly, zero job. I'm going to use the internet creatively to build multiple income streams, everybody. And here we go. No more career for me. No resume. What was that like as a mom and dad to hear me make that decision?
It was exciting because I could see you were following your passion, but it was fearful because at the time, I think our image of starting a business probably fell into a pretty common opinion that, every business that you start fails within the first 5 years.
Yeah.
So
98% chance.
And there's and there was no funding. And I can remember you always had little businesses going on the side, even though you were working for the man at the time. You always had little businesses. So we comforted ourselves with the fact that you saved all that bubblegum machine money and were able to use it for an adoption. You really had a business, a very growing side business. So that kind of reassured us. And I knew you had the knowledge and the skill, but I didn't know if you had the financial backing that it would take, to support a family. And so that was my big fear.
And we certainly didn't. In retrospect, I rolled the dice way more than I realized I did in that moment. I don't know that I would take the same risk now, given the same circumstances. If it was one of my kids and I knew all the details, I would probably be the guy trying to talk them out of it. But it worked out, and it worked out great.
Right.
And I would say it's so much easier now than it was then. I didn't have the Proven Amazon course or a 55,000 member Facebook group. Facebook wasn't even around yet. You were kind of feeling your way through in the darkness and with scams around every corner, and learning to recognize the difference between a scam and someone who really knew what they were talking about. And eBay was it. That was it. It was eBay or nothing, as far as any kind of predictable stability. So that's where we built, that's where we pitched our tent, and those early successes were there. And I
remember the phone calls, you telling me, and I get those occasional phone calls where you tell me the progress of the business, which I absolutely love every one of the calls. But I remember at one time you said, I have 10,000 people on my email list. And I just sobbed. I thought, I felt bad that I questioned your vision, because you grew quickly to that number. Growing an email list was kind of the basis of really this whole business. You focused more on growing an email list than.
And we talk about that all the time on this podcast and in the Silent Sales Machine book, the importance of having a list or being in partnership with someone, which is why we're offering our list to this community. An episode released recently, either side of this episode talks quite a bit about how you can partner with us and leverage the lists that we have. But the list is the asset. And I don't know who told me that early on, but I definitely subscribe to it. And I can tell you, if I were to go back and if I made a top 10 list of the scariest moments of the past 17, 20 years, it was right when I had a 10,000 person email list. And I realized the asset that was, if I serve these people well, they're going to want to partner with me, to buy product from me, to buy coaching from me, to work with me in some way. I knew that was a huge asset. But I went to log in at one point into our email service. We were actually on vacation with poor internet, and it was going to be this week of relaxation. And the first night, I'm like, I'm just going to log in and see how things are doing, look at the business numbers. Logged in, 00000. Log in, that's how many emails we added today, total email list size. It had been deleted from the internet.
Right.
And it was the Friday evening, and they weren't back for support till Monday. That was a long weekend. Come to find out, it was a data error. Everything was just fine. Monday noon, I knew everything was good. That weekend was a true test. And I even remember there's a picture that I have where I said, I'm going to take a hike. I'm going to create memories with the kids. It's in God's hands. I'm going to just, wait until I can know something to decide how I'm going to feel about this. And I did it. And I was so proud of myself for not just sitting there and hitting the refresh button all weekend, which I was tempted to do.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's some of the stories along the way. What other stories pop into your mind along the way? Some highlights, good or bad, some highlights along the journey.
Well, I think making the transition from eBay to Amazon. I remember at the time we were traveling constantly, so I wasn't able to stay quite as in tune with the growth. But I remember that you dove into Amazon and were pretty much getting the same quality of followers that you were with eBay. So you were starting the transition. And it just seems so natural. I love that part for you to move right into Amazon. And even with all the changes that Amazon has made through the years for Fulfillment by Amazon sellers, the products have stayed up to date. You were writing all the products or all the content, all the training. Soon, right away, you've always included other people in the growth of your business, which is, all those things really reassure parents when you see it's not just on your shoulders. The weight of the success of the business is spread out to many, many quality people. And we've always been really proud of that.
We've definitely benefited from having, and I wish there was a metric to track this, because it would be very reassuring if we could look at a chart somewhere and see this represented as a number somehow or as a graph. You just can't. But we've benefited from the fact that we're not transactional, we're relational. Meaning, when we switched from eBay to Amazon, people didn't say, no, literally, I was called Mr. eBay. We went to the eBay live events and people would walk up and like, oh, it's Mr. eBay, like because I'd written a book and it had done well and I'm Mr. eBay. Had we not had a relationship with our audience, I'd still to this day be Mr. eBay, and someone else would be handling all. But it's not about the platform or the tool around here. It's about the relationships. It's about trust. So we've earned the right to say, hey guys, this stuff was working great before. It's not working so great now. Here's the changes, but here's what's really working well. Go with us on this new journey. And they trust us because they know that we have their best interest in mind. It's a relationship. It's not a transaction that is the core of our interaction. It's that mutual trust and the team, this large team of great leaders who keep achieving and doing great things and bringing us great ideas. It's a lot like, I've referenced it a couple times, that book I read that really kind of helped me shape what we were building around here. What's the difference between a business and a city? Why is it that businesses, like you already said, Mom, we all know business, most of them go out of business in the first 5 years. And that's still true. Now, if you follow the rules on the internet, your odds of success are ridiculously higher than they used to be. But still, most businesses fail within, say, the first 5 years. That's not true with cities. Why is it a city can last hundreds or even thousands of years? And no one questions like, wow, why is that city still there? That's odd. No, because cities just last. They're a point where people gather and the city name remains, and there's a culture kind of there that's associated with it. And that's made us think, let's build on relationship and culture. Like, what do we believe? What are our core common beliefs? What's our foundation? Let's make something that lasts. So it's not about the tool, the course, or the product that we're selling. It's about a community of people. And we've certainly seen that in our live events.
Definitely.
What's your perspective on that? That'd be interesting to see. Like, what journey has that been for you?
That's been incredible.
Just to our 8th one.
Right. Being able to be at each one, be a part of the first one. There wasn't a lot of planning. We just announced it and we all showed up. But I remember that the very first conference we had, which I guess would have been in 2013. So I'd only been working for you for a year or so. So I walked from the hotel room over to the conference area, and we just had one meeting room and had the full conference in that one room. I walked over and I thought, well, I'll just peek in and see if anybody's shown up. And I go in there like 25 minutes before it's time to start, and the room is full. And then I have this panic attack. Can we fit everyone in?
Yeah.
We packed that first one. And so I guess I'm not really the naysayer or the devil's advocate ever. But I do throw caution out if I'm, if I see a concern. I will throw a red flag out or whatever, or a yellow one. So I was concerned that many people, we had registrations, but I was concerned that they would all show up, and here the room was already full before it even started. So when I did step into the room, though, that was another moment for me where I had to go get myself straightened up because I was just so proud that, and then every session had value. We imparted value in every session. When we'd have a chance to talk, these people coming from all over the continent and several out of the country globally attended. No one wanted to leave the room. They all wanted to just keep networking and exchanging information. It has morphed. That first year, I think we had close to 300 or maybe over 300. And now this year we looked at 700. Every year we have more than half the people are new to the community, and so surprised at the relationships they build. And at the conference now, we've incorporated a whole lot more networking time and a lot more individual workshops that are more thematic, so that people can jump into the area that they're really focused on or wanting to learn about. But the atmosphere has never changed since that first conference, which was just finally putting a face with the name, meeting the people that actually wrote the programs that they've gotten involved in. It's just, I love the growth of it. I love organizing it. We have a committee now that organizes it. I love being on that committee. And you were mentioning family earlier. My sister and your dad's sister, both your aunts have worked for us, and we've got them busy doing things. So
yeah, we don't want to
family. It's just a family business. Family
yeah.
business. Wonderful.
Whole bunch of family. Dad's been involved at different points, and
he was in here putting in new lights for us this weekend because we needed better lighting in the offices. So
oh, it looks great on camera.
Yeah, thanks.
You look great. Well, you're doing great, Mom. What else, as we come in and start to wrap this up, anything else you wanted to share? I wouldn't mind sharing, like if you have some advice. We frequently have new listeners who will catch a podcast episode, and I'm thinking an episode with my mom might attract some new people who haven't listened before. Like, just talk to the listeners what our community has to offer. Just put it in your own words, what we're all about, who this is for.
Okay, so I know that a large quantity of people that listen to the podcast are possibly Amazon sellers. And if they are, I would think a pretty large percentage of those people are working from their home, trying to build their business, hoping to quit the big job and do this as a family. And my best advice is to do that from home and include family as long as you possibly can. And when you're ready to build a team, when it's built up and you're ready to bring on people, consider working with VAs, virtual assistants, can take on some of that. Bring in a few friends of the family or other family members to work on it, or get a prep center involved to do a lot of your detail work. Start paying in that direction. You'll know when you're ready to get a building. And getting a building is a huge jump. It's like a giant step rather than a baby step or an adult step. And because I feel like we wanted to do this and we did it and we've done it successfully, but it's been a big burden to have a building and the cost of a building, when we probably could have partnered with a prep center or partnered with some sellers. I'm not afraid of partnering with competitors. That's, why can't we just pull this together and we'll make something bigger out of it? So my advice for someone who's just starting out is to definitely jump in to the community, the Facebook community, My Silent Team, FBA, so Amazon sellers, Amazon FBA sellers, My Silent Team. The link will be in the show notes.
There you go. Nailed it.
Jump into that community and see what kind of questions people are asking as soon as you can afford to get the Proven Amazon course, because every new course that comes out that references building your business gets added to the Proven Amazon course eventually as it applies to selling on Amazon. And that course is constantly updated and there's never another cost. We try really hard to jump into all those trainings. We listen to the podcast as often as we can to stay up to date as a team. And as you build a team, set aside a time for everyone to come together, and each person has some say, and start acting on those ideas and suggestions. We've we've made it work because we all are invested. Everyone that works for me. I have contract team members that get paid and get a 1099 at the end of the year, and I have an employee that gets a W-2. There's so many different business models that come out of this, and we've had people come and go. Like I mentioned, some people have started their own business and moved on and come back. So I don't know, just enjoy the journey. My whole life concept is enjoy the journey, enjoy it today, celebrate today, live today, and be grateful for today, and pour into other people so that they can be a part of what's happening.
Yeah, gratitude and serving, certainly our core principles here, for sure. We have so much to be grateful for.
And we really do.
We've proven pretty well that we're good at serving. I mean, the list of success stories and people that rely and trust us, rely on us, trust us. It's phenomenal to look back at, and sometimes it feels like all we've done is lay the foundation too.
It does. We sense the potential growth here constantly. We're in constant preparation mode for growth.
Pretty incredible to look back at how far we've come, and we still feel like we've kind of just laid a foundation for even more growth. So you've done a great job, Mom. Appreciate your help.
Thanks.
For the listeners, I want to reference a couple of resources. It just popped in my head that so Daniel Lappin training I was referencing earlier about the lessons from Noah's Ark. Pretty sure it's called The Gathering Storm. It just popped into my head. I think I called it something different earlier. If you look up Lappin Gathering Storm, that has lessons for including incorporating family into business. And then the Prep Center Network. We haven't talked about that yet. Tell me a little bit about that. We alluded to it a little earlier, but we have a prep center. There's dozens, maybe 100 or more at this point. There used to be like 2 or 3. Now there's hundreds of prep centers with different advantages and specialties. So you can have your product prepped by a third party, if you will. Instead of shipping it to your house, you can ship it to a prep partner. And we're going to be, not only do we offer these services on our own, so maybe you can tell people how they can check into our prep center, but we don't want to be just self-serving here. There's a large network of prep centers. Talk to us a little bit about what we've got planned here.
Okay. We realize that there are quite a few people trying to do prep center services for Amazon sellers. And we know that we're not alone. In fact, I've been on the phone with several of them, just ask them, how do you do this? How much do you charge? Tell us the pitfalls, because we didn't want to jump into a blind. But Amazon sellers they get to a place where they really need someone to step in and help. And a prep center is one way. So they can ship, around here, they either ship everything, they order online and ship everything straight to us, and then we ship it to Amazon's shelves or ship it to the sellers, direct customers, merchant fulfill, and send it out of here. And we're sending products to Amazon every day and sending products to customers every day out of here, and have 15 clients. And it didn't take long for us to build up to 15 clients. So I'm thinking that there's a lot of people out there that would love to be a prep center just to supplement what they're doing. They're already doing it every day. They might as well be serving several sellers. So it was very easy growth for us. But there are several prep centers out there who are, they may be doing a really excellent job, but they don't have leads. They don't know how to advertise or promote what they're doing and build up their business. And we really have both sides of the business. We have experience here, of course, but we have wanted to offer all the prep centers a way to network that we can add value to each other's businesses and stop the competition and implement growth among ourselves. A mastermind of sort. You call it a mastermind, and we love that concept, where we come together monthly, we share ideas on growth and how to serve our clients better, serve the sellers. But also the sellers then would have one location to go to say, I'm looking for a prep center, any recommendations, and we can make sure they get pointed in the right direction and connect, kind of a matching service for sellers and prep centers. But we have the seller community on the Facebook page, 55,000 followers, that promoting their prep center can be huge for growth for these businesses. So we're hoping to connect the two, provide this network, and launch it any day now.
Yeah.
Coming up.
So as a free service to sellers around the world or domestic here in the U.S.,
right?
If you're tired of
and they
stuff
don't
piling up
necessarily
around your
have
house,
to be right.
Yeah,
Right.
you can send it to a prep center instead, and you'd be surprised how inexpensive it is to do that. How much more efficient your business can become.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of my mottos has always been, you know, as your business starts growing, one of the first things you're going to have to do is stop touching box tape. That includes cutting it open with a knife and putting it on boxes, because there's people who can do that stuff for $12 an hour. It's like, come on, stop touching box tape. And a prep center is a good way to do that. You can really scale your business. So we're talking about, hey, as a free service to this community, we can put you in touch with our network of prep centers, and they can vie for your business. And different ones, different regions of the country, different geographical advantages.
Right.
Where your stuff ships in from China. Maybe if it's always going to LA, maybe a West Coast prep center makes sense, right? So you have different options. But yeah, we've got this network. It's coming very soon as a free service to sellers. And if you're a prep center or you think about starting one as a revenue stream, you'll want to get into that network mastermind that we're talking about launching.
Right.
Probably going to limit it to a handful and focus really on building each other up and co-opetition, as we call it around here, cooperating with your competitors to everyone's benefit. It's going to be really fun. So that's coming. And that website is prepcenternetwork.com. There'll be links to all of that on that one page. We'll stick it in the show notes so you don't have to write it down while you're driving. Mom, this was a great episode. This was a lot of fun. We should have done this before now.
I know. It's been a wonderful journey. Thank you, Jim, for the opportunity.
I appreciate all your hard work and help. And
Thank you.
For those who come to the Proving Conference, if you've watched this episode on YouTube and you know what my mom looks like now, go up to her, give her a handshake, give her a hug, and thank her for all the hard work.
Hugs.
And for keeping me on the straight and narrow all those years as a young man. But all right, well, God bless all the listeners.
We're proud of you.
Hanging out with us today. I'm proud of you too, Mom. You and Dad,
just
incredible mentors. And thank you again for being here with us today, hanging out with my mom and I. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did. We certainly treasure the time together. So even if no one listens to this episode, we had a blast, but we hope you did too.
That's right.
And but send us your feedback. If you want to hear more from the people who are on the team like this, let me know. If you found this valuable and you want to hear more from the people who are making it happen around here every day, we'd love to do more of these episodes for you. Traditionally, it's just been our most successful students. But if you want to hear more from some of the great people and great leaders on our team, we'll do more of these kinds of episodes. So let us know what you thought. And as always, silentjim.com is the only resource you'll need. All the links we talked about today, you can connect with us and check it all out that way. So God bless all the business building warriors. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again to my mom. You were a great guest.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And we will talk to you all soon.